Oh boy, this is something that we definitely knew was going to happen, but it's just crazy to actually see it happening real time. So let me catch you guys up real quick on what the heck is going on and who is Nintendo suing and why did this even happen in the first place. Well, there's an accessory manufacturer out there called Genki. They make Switch 2 accessories, or at least were making Switch 2 accessories. Now I'm not sure if they had some for the Switch 1 already, but they were getting ahead of Nintendo and starting to produce these accessories, and they weren't the only ones doing this. This was around the beginning of this year, and I was getting emails from tons of companies, and Genki may have been one of them. I can't even remember. There were so many sending me emails talking about, do you want us to send you Switch 2 accessories before the console's even revealed, so that way you can have them and then you can talk about them once it's revealed or once the Switch 2 is revealed. And I thought it was extremely strange. Clearly accessory manufacturers were upset with Nintendo that they were taking so long to reveal the thing, and it seems like some of them maybe even had some type of agreements or some information regarding Nintendo's product, and I will talk about that in a second. But it seems like Nintendo just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it further past whatever agreement that they had. But with all these companies eager to show off their accessories, Genki was one company that pushed it a little too far. At the beginning of this year, they decided to release a whole trailer showing off their shell that goes around Switch 2, and they even showed off a full-blown render of what Switch 2 would look like that they created themselves. Yeah, this was pretty crazy because for one, it looked like a one-to-one perfect recreation of all the leaks that we've heard about, but it looked almost too perfect. The model itself looked like it came straight from Nintendo, and it looked like it was an early reveal of Switch 2 that wasn't technically revealed by Nintendo. And a lot of people started questioning, what's the validity of this trailer? Is this our actual first look at Switch 2? And as we would see from the Switch 2's reveal, this is exactly what the Switch 2 looked like, and we knew this months ahead of Nintendo's own reveal. They then went even further, and just about a month before Switch 2's official reveal, during an electronic expo, they actually had their own booth, where they would show off their Switch 2 accessories in person, and they actually made a 3D printed replica of what the Switch 2 would look like, and was even telling people that they've seen the Switch 2 and that they've gotten information from Nintendo, so they recreated what they were told or what they've seen themselves with their own printed version, which is crazy. Even had a catalog book at the booth showcasing tons of their accessories, like their own versions of the Pro Controller, their own versions of the Joy-Con, and a lot more to go along with this Switch 2 that, remember, hasn't even been announced yet. This led many people to believe, myself included, that maybe there was some sort of NDA that's been uplifted. Maybe the time for that NDA had finally passed and Nintendo had taken too long to reveal Switch 2, so companies started coming out talking about the thing. Well, I don't know if that's the case at all. If anything, it felt like ever since Genki made that first step, it just opened up the door for other companies to do the same thing. But no, it doesn't seem like there was any NDAs involved at all. It seems like Nintendo just straight up told them that they weren't allowed to do this. There was never any permission given for them to show off entire renders of exactly what the Switch 2 would look like. I mean, even the insides of the sides of the railing system for the Joy-Con were down to the tiniest detail. Clearly, they had some type of information from Nintendo, but they revealed information before Nintendo even allowed them to. Some people that were at the expo had even said that Nintendo had sent lawyers to shut down their booth and tell them to clean up and pack everything up because they weren't allowed to be doing this. And we heard these rumors a while back, but it seems like these rumors had some truth to them because Nintendo had come out with an official statement that they would be suing Genki. Now, apparently Nintendo is suing Genki because they showed off a mock-up of the Switch 2 at the CES 2025 booth before the console's official reveal, and Nintendo alleges that Genki violated their trademarks, which showed exactly what this console would look like. Now, if the court rules in Nintendo's favor, which they probably will, Genki is to destroy all products related to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 and cease using Nintendo's trademarks again. Now, it doesn't seem like Nintendo is looking for money out of this, but it is going to lose Genki pretty much all of their money and essentially probably even affect the company greatly, as they probably have tons of Switch 2 accessories ready to go, and they're going to have to destroy all of them and stop working with Nintendo altogether, which is definitely going to impact the company in a horrible way, probably even shutting it down. Genki has further made a public statement on this and stated, "You may have seen that Nintendo recently filed a lawsuit against us. We're taking it seriously and working with legal counsel to respond thoughtfully. What we can say is this: Genki has always been an independent company focused on building innovative gaming accessories for the community we love. We're proud of the work we've done, and we stand by the quality and originality of our products. While we can't comment in detail, we're continuing preparations to fulfill orders and showcase our newest products at PAX East this week. We're grateful for the overwhelming support we've received so far. We'll share more when we can, but for now, we're staying focused on doing what we do best, building gear for gamers. Team Genki. Well, this is a tough one for me because it might be easy just to slam Genki and said, yeah, they shouldn't have done what they did, and I agree. It was pretty bold of them to come out and literally recreate a whole Switch 2 render, trailer, and model and stuff. They could have just 3D printed a model of what they think Switch 2 is going to look like to a basic extent just to really show off their accessories, but I feel like most of their stuff was just kind of showing off this Switch 2 unofficial render that they created almost. Like, it wasn't even giving attention on their accessories. I think everybody was watching their stuff just to simply look at the Switch 2, and maybe that was their plans, to get everybody talking and get everybody looking at their trailers to show their Switch 2 accessories, but everybody's eyes were just on Switch 2's first look nevertheless. So yeah, I don't know what they expected to happen. This is pretty insane for them to do that, but at the same time, I kind of can see where they would be coming from if certain situations and circumstances happen the way they did. For instance, if they never had any type of information on Switch 2 directly from Nintendo, which it seems like that's what they're saying, that they never worked in cahoots with Nintendo, they never had any type of NDA that they had to sign or anything like that. Instead, they used the patents and all the outsourced information about Switch 2 to build their own version, but it's hard to believe because their version looks so perfectly identical to Switch 2, and someone even stated before that yes, that they have seen the Switch 2 that worked at Genki. So I don't know. Who knows what they actually have and what information that they use, but it is going to be a hard case for Genki to win, I will say that. And I get it. Lots of the manufacturers were very upset. I mean, we were seeing even game manufacturers leaking that their games were coming to Switch 2 and kind of teasing that Switch 2 would be revealed soon. And it seems like, yeah, a lot of these maybe manufacturers and accessory companies were told that Switch 2 was going to be coming sooner, and Nintendo pushed it back as far as they did. I mean, look at how long we had to wait for Switch 2 to be announced, so I get it. As a manufacturer and company that's reliant on Nintendo's brand new hardware to sell your accessories, it probably was very frustrating, as Nintendo maybe even told some of these companies that it would be coming in this time frame, and it didn't. Well, personally, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know the law that well, and I don't know how it comes down to abusing trademarks and how that actually works, but I think it comes down to this. If Genki had any type of NDA signed or any type of connection with Nintendo at all in this, and Nintendo told them not to reveal stuff, I think that they're screwed. But if Genki simply used nothing but outsourced information, meaning public info like leaks and pictures and stuff that people have supposedly taken of Switch 2, or maybe patent information, I don't know if Nintendo could win that. It's hard to say, I really don't know, but where do you stand on this? Do you agree with Nintendo? Yes, it's pretty insane that they had full-up renders of this thing, or do you agree with Genki? But either way, we definitely saw this coming. You don't mess with Nintendo, and you don't push their buttons, and you don't push them to the edge of something like this, because you know they're gonna sue. I mean, come on, it's Nintendo of all companies. This is not the company that you want to deal with. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo Switch 2, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.